name is Wendy Davis. I'm 25 and I have triple negative breast cancer. I was diagnosed January the 3rd of this year, 2013, and it's been a roller coaster. I found a lump late December of 2012, went to have it ultrasounded, that would be the word, and they were concerned, so they sent me to a surgeon to have a biopsy done. He also did an ultrasound and didn't think there was anything to it, and was actually going to put the biopsy off for 3 months, and I didn't like that idea. I was afraid of the biopsy, afraid it was going to hurt, and it kind of didn't. So I went ahead and had it done anyways and waited on the results. That week was terrible.
Sure.
I was supposed to get the results around right after Christmas, but it ended up being the 3rd of January before I got the results, and he walked into the room in tears, and I knew that it was cancer. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I didn't know how far along it was going to be, but I did know what it was. And he told me it was triple negative, which sounds like a good thing. It's definitely not. Triple negative's pretty bad because it doesn't respond to anything, and it's very aggressive, fast growing. And he told me if we'd have waited the 3 months, I probably would have been very close to death. So I was glad that I went ahead and had him do the biopsy. And that day we sat down right after he told me the news. I was still in shock, but I wanted to go ahead and have a plan. I wanted to know what was going to happen. I just didn't want to sit with this killer in me forever. So he said that I had to have chemo. There was no way around it. But he wanted to do surgery first, and I had a lumpectomy. I had the lumpectomy January the 17th. And they thought they got all the cancer, but they weren't sure. And because I'm so young, they knew that my chances of survival were decent, but my chances of returning cancer, even more aggressive than what I had, were very, very high. Something like 80 or 90% of it coming back in the next 10 years if I didn't do chemo. So we talked about options for chemo, the different places to go, and I actually chose to come here at Cancer Care because, one, it's very convenient, it's very close, it's right in the middle of Jackson, and it's small, and I like that because everybody here gets to know you. They know your face when you walk in the door, they know your name, they know your situation, and after about my second visit, actually, they all knew who I was, and they knew me by name, they knew my situation, and they were very attentive. They cared for me nearly like I was their own child, because, I mean, it's hard enough as it is, and I couldn't imagine having people distribute chemo in a hospital setting wearing scrubs with, nobody really caring about anything. The women here in the chemo department they care about their job, and they care about their patients. And, one of them actually had the same kind of cancer I had triple negative, and she's a survivor, and that to me was very encouraging that, there are survivors actually distributing this. They do know what you're going through. They know what these drugs are doing to your body, and they know how hard it is, and they just wrapped you in love from day one all the way through. And that to me was very comforting. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. And I had Dr. Walker, and he was wonderful from the get-go. He explained everything in a way that I understood. He didn't try to use any fancy doctor lingo. He didn't try to make any decisions for me. He gave me my options and let me make the choice. And, he guided me in the right direction, but He let me make my own choices from start to finish. And so I feel that, having the freedom to choose my, path of treatment was a very good thing for me. It gave me control in a situation that was uncontrollable. It gave me peace of mind to know that, my body was my choice. And he was very calm through the whole thing. It doesn't matter what came up. It didn't matter how horrible something was for me. He was always calm, and he always had an answer, and he didn't have to take 40 minutes to think about it. He knew. And I thought that was very comforting to know that, if he knew the answer that fast, then it's not that unusual. Maybe because I'm so young it was unusual, but all in all, it really wasn't that unusual what I went through, and I had a tough time with it. But I think if I had been anywhere else, it would have been a lot harder.